There you go. I muted. Nathan, thank you for your time. Good to see you.
And you.
So 6 wins out of 6 if you take the close season out of it, but 4 out of 4 so far this season. Above your expectations?
No, I think you've always set your standards high. Look, we're delighted. I won't play that down. We're delighted to have won the first 4 games, especially the 2 in the league. But you always have to aim high. We've got a good group here. We have good confidence, good belief in what we do and the group as a whole. And I said we finished last year really well. Didn't lose in I think it was the last 5 games of the season, and winning 3, maybe 4 of them. I think it was 3 or 4 of those. So look, it's a real good return, and then we've continued that. So we're delighted.
When you're on a run like that, it must give the whole place the kind of bounce, the kind of confidence that money can't buy.
Well, look, without overplaying it, we're used to winning games here. We have been, throughout the time at certain levels, and we've managed to continue that. They're a great group, and the credit has to go to the players because they're the ones that implement your game plan. My work is no different to what I've done in the past at here and at other clubs, and sometimes you get mixed results. But here, we've got a group that really wants to do well, and I'm very proud of them. But they have to have the credit. Really.
Obviously, a busy time as well. So you obviously make changes from the league team to the Carabao Cup team, and I imagine that will be the same tomorrow night.
Well, what we will do is make sure that we have a team capable of competing with what I would imagine would be an extremely strong Man United side. So whether we freshen it up or continue in the same vein as we've done either in the Cup or the league, we'll see tomorrow. But what we will do, we'll have a very competitive side out and a side that's very motivated to do well.
And what about United? What kind of side do you imagine? Do you plan for, I guess, that for them? Do you plan for their very best side when you're playing this game?
If I'm honest, we plan for the very best team that they can put out, and even whatever changes they make, they're extremely strong. So they'll either have 11 internationals or 11 different internationals. One of the two will happen. But look, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. I would. Realistically, it probably is the biggest club in the world. They have limited finances. They have a fantastic squad, and it's a great opportunity for us to test ourselves against them. And the real shame is there's no fans here, because it's been a wonderful one for our fans to see and to have Man United rolling into town. But that's the time we're in.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, they are Manchester United with a very, very strong squad. But looking at the positives, potential positives, they're a bit later in the curve than you, aren't they? And that their season's only just started. Maybe a disappointing result they're coming off the back of. So, are these the kind of positives that you include in your team talk?
Well, it's how you look at them, really. You can either look at that's a positive, or you can say, well, they're fresh because they haven't played as many games and so on, because we've been relentless since the season started and so on, where we finished and so on. So look, I think one thing is for sure, we're going to have to be at our very best to compete tomorrow. We hope that United are not, and that we hope that if we are and they're not, then we can take advantage. But let's not play down the task. This is a wonderful side that we're coming up against, and we're proud of it because we've had to earn the right to play them. 2 difficult ties. It's been like effectively 4 championship games we've had, and we're going to relish the opportunity of playing against them, albeit in front of a relatively empty stadium.
Yeah, just on that, it is such a shame. I mean, it's always a shame that the stadium's empty, but everything that Luton fans have been through in recent history, and I'm talking the last 10 years or so, to be playing Manchester United in a cup tie on a Tuesday night, it's such a shame that they can't be there to see it, isn't it?
Oh, it's a massive shame, because look, these are the nights that the Kenny loves, and so on, and they're great occasions, and it would make it a much more sort of nail-biting, fluent sort of roller coaster of a night with the crowd and so on, a bit more swashbuckling, if you like. But as it is now, it's probably more of a leveler for them than it is for us, which is ironic.
Just a final thought, if I may. I just wanted to ask you about taking a knee. There's a little bit of controversy today because of the game on the television game, QPR commentary that they didn't take a knee, and that's because QPR have made their own plans behind the scenes to mark Black Lives Matter in their own way. Do you think there should be more, Mark Warburton says there should be more guidance from the leagues, from the authorities about whether you should or shouldn't? What's your take on it as a club?
And look, first of all, Luton Town, myself, my staff and all the people here are categorically against any kind of discrimination. I think we proved that anyway, and we are a multicultural society in terms of round by Luton, a community. We are multicultural, and we're very proud of that, very proud of the heritage and the history of Luton. So first of all, foremost, that is paramount in our thinking. In terms of the Black Lives Matter, I think people, I'm an ambassador of Kick It Out, so I'm a supporter of it, but how you support that is in your own way. I'm saying categorically is that myself and the team and the club here are a supporter of Black Lives Matter. Now, whether we get guidance or not, some people kneel, some people don't, but in their own way. I'm a born-again Christian. I pray for certain things like against discrimination. So I don't necessarily need to take a knee to support the Black Lives Matter. We are supporting it, but what we are is we are against any kind of discrimination here. So whatever directive we're told, we will do, but fundamentally and to our core, we are a promoter of equality in all aspects of our work and life.
Brilliant. Top man, good luck.
Thank you.
Hi Nathan, you all right?
Hi, Moose, okay?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Is this your first time either a player or manager up against Man United?
Yeah, it is. Look, it isn't the first time I've come up against them. We're going to relish the occasion, obviously. I know Ollie, I've spoken to Ollie in the past through business and so on. But look, it's always a good occasion when you play Man United. We would like these to be week in, week out occurrences. When we took over, we always had that end goal in sight, and we're probably 2 steps closer than we were when we took over. So it's a big task to always play against them, as any Premier League side would say. But look, we're going to relish the opportunity, and hopefully we can give our best account of ourselves.
What's it like then when you come up against a manager you know and you like? I mean, is it harder than if you come up against a manager you either don't know or don't like?
Oh, look, I think once the whistle goes, it'll make a difference, and so on. And you do your prep exactly the way you can, and once the players cross the line, it's pretty much over to them then. So no, look, it's a real good respite's not quite the right word, but it is. So it's away from league action. It's a nice diversion and things, or distraction. But it's a game that we really want to be competitive in and want to be the best version of ourselves, because it's another test for us. For us to evolve and to get better and to climb the Championship League, then we have to have tests like this. And there's not many bigger tests in world football than Man United.
I saw you beat Norwich, and obviously I was at Reading last week. You changed your team from one to the other. When you pick the team to play United, and bearing in mind you've got Watford at the end of the week, if you leave players out, they're going to be unhappy, aren't they? Because this is probably their only chance to play against Man United.
Well, look, you can't think of sentiment in terms of what we do. We have, as we've said, after we beat Reading last week, we came in meeting on Thursday, we debriefed, and we said, in terms of weeks for Luton Town, they don't come much bigger, to play Derby at home, which was, with the added spice of Wayne Rooney and then being a Premier League club, then Man United at home, then the fiercest rivals in terms of Watford. What a great week to be a Luton Town player. Now, that's the motivation. So not everyone will play 390 minutes. I'm pretty convinced in that. So you're going to have to use the squad. How you use the squad, because what we have to do is try to pick a team, pick an 11 that's going to be competitive and has a chance of winning all 3 games. That's the thing. So however we change or mix it up, it might not be changing for this, it might be changed for Saturday. So, it gives me food for thought, but we have a good group, a group that's competitive, and a group that's on the front foot at the minute.
On United, they lost at the weekend, so is this a good time to play them, or are they a wounded animal?
But I think if you're Liverpool or Man City or maybe Leicester, then you might be thinking this is a good time to play them. But coming up, it's a totally different competition. It's a totally different game. It's a different set of circumstances. So in terms of being able to beat Man U, I don't think there's ever a good time to play them. But look, it's one we'll relish. That whoever they pick, if they make 11 changes, they come with 11 internationals, 11 names. 11 worthy of getting your shirt swapped, if you like. But we're treating this as a real good game, a real test for us, and we want to test ourselves against the best, and there's not many better than Man U.
And finally, I mean, this is a stellar week. Man United at home, and then Watford, as you said, and probably to the fans watching, they'd rather beat Watford on Saturday than they would Man United tomorrow night. But I know you. I know how much time and effort you put into your prep and your scouting. Nothing other than 2 wins is going to do for you, is it?
Well, look, realistically, yeah, because that's what we set our sights on. We've set our sights on 3 wins this week. We've got 1. If you could pick 2 wins out of the 3, yeah, I know which 2 we'd pick. So yeah, it is the element of realism in it. But look, we'll go out tomorrow. It's 90 minutes, 11v11. We'll have to utilize the squad tomorrow in whatever capacity. Game changes everything. So it's going to be a wonderful game. We're going to have to be really good to come through the tie tomorrow. We know that. And then it leads into the biggest league game, the biggest league game for this club or for the people and the fans in this club against, as a derby game. But we waited a long time for these games, and we're very pleased that we have them because, we said to them at the end when we went to Hull and Huddersfield last year, it's up to you. Do you want to come to these grounds week in, week out again next year, or do you want to go and we won't name sides to be disrespectful, or certain sides? And that's the thing. So to have Man United coming is a massive thing. To be going to Watford is a massive thing, and that's why we wanted 1 to get to this level, 2 to remain at this level, and 3 to be really competitive at this level.
Good luck tomorrow, Nathan.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Hi, Nathan. You right?
Hi. Okay.
Nathan, I was just wondering. Yeah, good. Thanks. Because it is Watford on Saturday, will that affect the team you pick tomorrow night? Say if it was, I don't know, a Rotherham or somebody like that, or would you just treat that Watford game as any other Championship game, and that's more important than Man United?
Look, we work. We have a protocol when we have a 3-game week. What we do and how we do stuff. We learned from certain, mistakes last time. For example, when we played Swansea away, Leeds away, Reading at home, we learned from that. Because to win a Championship game, the exertion it takes is full throttle, and to go up against Man United will be full throttle. So what we have to do, we will use the squad over these next 3 games. In what order we use the squad will be up to us and what we want to do. But the good thing about me is we don't have a massive variance between players. We have 2 in pretty much every position. But if I make a change to either any one position, there's no uproar from the fans saying, "Well, how can you play him instead of him?" and so on, because we have a real level playing field with the squad. So whatever changes I make will be competitive. If I don't make any changes, is because we want to have continuity, and then we will adjust off the back of that.
You must have a kind of an idea of what team Manchester United will play, just judged on what Solskjaer said after the game when they were beaten. He was saying that they need more match sharpness, they're rusty. So you look at the bench and probably Van der Beek, Greenwood, Garlow, Fred.
Let me just get a pen. Could you repeat that again? Let me just write that down.
And some of the ones who played probably might feature.
The names you've reeled off are all international football players. So whatever you want to do, Eric Bailly, Maguire, Lindelof, Phil Jones, whoever you want to do it, you know what I mean? Wan-Bissaka, they're all top players. So it makes no difference who they play. It's either absolutely world class or not far off world class. So it's going to be a tough tie, you know what I mean? So all we can do is prepare ourselves in terms of our game plan of how we press, how we work, how we defend, how we look to play. And unless they play the under-23s, that would probably be the only shot.
Well, the players must be relishing it, mustn't they? And you?
Of course, these are the games. Look, we've always prided ourselves here on playing against big sides and wanting to test ourselves, because when you test yourself against good people, good sides, good teams, good organisations, you become better yourself, providing you learn from whatever happens in those games. You learn. We went to Newcastle and learnt. We pressed, we went high, we learned harsh lessons over an 8-minute period that you wouldn't be able to tell which side was which apart from an 8-minute period. But that was the lesson we learned. We played Villa at home, fantastic. We played Sheffield Wednesday away in the Cup. We relished playing higher league opposition, and tomorrow's going to be no different. Look, it's a wonderful, wonderful tie. I've mentioned previously that it's a real shame that it's not full. One, because that gives us an advantage, but also two, gives our fans something to that they talk about, because this used to be a regular fixture for Luton in terms of in the top flight. Now it's not so regular. So what we have to do is make sure that we go into it eyes open, we're prepared, learn from it, so that we can get better. So eventually, Man U Luton is a regular league fixture.
It's a funny one for someone like Ryan Tunnicliffe, who would probably love to come up against his former club. Actually, when we've just spoken to him, he's desperate to get into your league team. So that's kind of a funny situation where the players who might play tomorrow night were actually are desperate to prove a point to get into the league game for Watford.
But look, I know league's always paramount. So if we can do really well in the league, we would take that over cups. We would. It's not. But at the minute, we've got a group that are working hard, and the games, and as I said, because of what the EFL did in terms of not being able to do 5 subs or use 5 subs, then it puts a real strain on a squad, and we like to work with a tight squad. Budgets are exactly the same, so you really have to work with a tight squad. So when Ryan, with all due respect, saying he wants to get into the league, so he's in the league plans, because if he's in the cup plans, he's in the league plans. And that's the way it is. It's just we've picked sides and we tweaked something slightly different to play against Reading, and it proved to be successful. But we think we've got a real competitive squad. So he's in the plans. He might not have been on the bench on the weekend, but that doesn't mean to say he wasn't really, really close to actually playing. And that's the same with all of them. We've got real good competition at the minute, and they all will be utilised, because we're 2 games in to a minimum 46-game season, because whatever happens, we played 4 games, but we've got a definite 46 games left. So everyone has to be ready. I
don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but from Nottingham, the news is coming out that one of their legends, Chris Cohen, is going to be joining your coaching staff. Is that happening?
Yeah, we've look. I think I don't think it's gone out officially yet, but we wanted to pay. With all due respect, let Forest sort out their end first and things. But Chris is someone I've known for a long time. I played with Chris. We were very close friends, but I followed his career. And then when I left my previous employment, I actually was looking to freshen my staff up in certain areas. And I did a lot of research on up and coming coaches, really, coaches that would really fit into me. And Chris was one of those. So when Gary gave me the nod and said, look, you can bring someone in, then Chris was the one for me. So I'm delighted, really. He sort of started over the weekend in terms of being around the environment and seeing it. And then today sort of officially started on the grass.
And just a final one from me. How's Glenn Ray? He obviously had to come off on Saturday. Is he fit for this week, for tomorrow?
He's still a plonker, if that's what you want to know. But a lot better than he was at half-time on Saturday. So look, yeah, he's back in contention. Just felt a bit lightheaded. Certain things, these things can happen in heat. Dehydration when you exert, adrenaline, all those things can contribute. And then we didn't want to take a chance, because if you feel lightheaded and something more sinister happens, you never forgive yourself. So we just took the precaution. And thankfully, it wasn't too costly, because we ended up winning the game.